Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Where some of you have asked me that since I no longer have my Etsy store, it's okay with us if you once in a while do a video just reminding us of the kind of products that you still make and sell. So that's partly what this video is about, and also to go over again the reasons why I left Etsy, and I've been away from there for well over a year now. I'll go ahead and start with that, and then I'll start talking about some of the products that we sell and how you can order them. Now here's the thing, is that Etsy was a really good resource for us. In fact, for several years it was our main source of income, and we did really well on Etsy. But through the years, there was just a lot of things happening, changes that kept being made, and such as the first one that really bothered me was when they just suddenly started charging me for ad fees that I never agreed to. I never wanted ads because I got plenty enough business, or we got plenty enough business just from sharing information on YouTube and people that wanted to support us. And I couldn't back out of it. There was nothing I could do about it. And I was actually paying quite a bit every month to these ad fees. And how that works is that Etsy takes it upon themselves to start advertising your products on Facebook or wherever else. And when people go through that ad and on Facebook or in any of these other places and order your product, then Etsy takes a cut out of that. That's how it works. They take a percentage, but they already take a percentage of your earnings, which some of it you can understand because there's other people managing the site. Etsy has had to pay for and apply for their own VAT license to be able to sell overseas and all these other things. And so a certain amount of that is fine. But when they kept finding ways to just charge more and charge more, and we had no say in it, especially the ads, we should have a say on whether or not we want them to advertise for us. So that was irritating enough, but you know, we were still moving a lot of product and doing pretty good. But then came the whole thing with the plaid payment thing. And even though I'd been on Etsy for years, never had an issue, suddenly they decided to implement this new program that that I did initially try to go through because they wanted to verify your bank through this program, which is weird because it's the same bank, nothing had changed. And I never could get it to verify. Well, I'm glad that I never did, because as I started looking further, trying to figure out what the problem was and interacting with Etsy and getting a different representative every time that had no idea, didn't even bother to read the previous emails, what was going on. So they kept telling me the same thing over and over, and I'm telling them that's not working. That's not what the problem is. I decided to go to the community section, which I should have done from the start, and start reading through the issues people were having. And through that, I was able to find a lot more information about Plaid and their privacy policy, which is actually quite horrible. It was the worst privacy policy I've ever seen. All the things they want to know about you that is none of their business. Very invasive. And then I just decided, you know what? I've been having a bad feeling for a while that, you know, and the ad fees and all these different things, I just had been feeling the need to kind of pull myself away from some of these online sources like that. And so that was just kind of the icing on the cake that made me just make the decision that, well, it wasn't working with my bank anyway, because that was part of the problem. A lot of the banks will not deal with Plaid because they're shady. Yeah, that's what Etsy chose to use. I decided to just cut my ties, and I actually am really glad that I did, even though we don't make near the amount of money off of our products as we did when we had Etsy. At least I can, you know, it's helped things kind of slow down for me, so I can put more time into my channel, more time into watching my grandkids and the other things that I do. So that was its own blessing in disguise. But for those who still were interested in product, all I did was simply just started working more directly with people through email. So for those of you who are interested in our products, all you have to do is send an email to raincountryhomestead@gmail.com. And what I'll do is just a basic list. There's no pictures included. But I can send you pictures if you request, and it will be a list with the pricing and shipping. Some of it's going to be an estimate on shipping and ordering information. And I also include in that, it's just something I copy and paste into the email and then send it off. I also include details, not only, the chambers and these generators down here are included in the price list, but more specific details on how to use them and so on are also included below the product list. So when I send that to you, you'll find all the information on the vacuum chambers, which I'll explain here in a little bit, and the generators and what they're about and how to use them. And so you can find all that information there. But please know, if you are in the UK or any place that requires that I have to have a VAT license to be able to ship it to you, unfortunately, I can't do that anymore because Etsy had the VAT license when all that was established. And so it was fine when I was with Etsy because they did, but now that I don't have Etsy and I don't have a VAT license and I will not be applying for one for several reasons, unfortunately, I'm sorry, I cannot ship to you if you are in the UK. I can still, at this time, ship to Canada, but there's more things being added to that too, such as the duty tax. That is something that will be included into the shipping when I go figure all that out. So it's all paid for, or you don't have to pay another tax when you go to pick up your item, however that works in Canada. And there's probably a few other countries, like I think I can still ship to Australia. I know not that long ago I shipped something off to Australia. Just know that the farther away you are from us, the more expensive it is to ship things. And this thing right here, the half-gallon vacuum chamber, is the most expensive. It is pretty spendy. In fact, for some places, I believe it costs more to ship it than it does just for this alone. So anyway, just know that up front. But anytime a person is ordering several items together, I do try to find the best shipping costs and combine that all together to save you money. So let's talk a little bit about these products. I just have a few things out here. I cannot go, since this video is also publishing on YouTube as well as Rumble, I can't go into detail in this video about what this thing is about, but it is a generator and it is about making colloids. And again, this is something that is, we got a wide mouth and a regular mouth, and it is something that you can find more information on in that product list when I send it. If you're watching this on Rumble, I will link to a video that would have just come out recently on what this is and how to use it. And so I'll link to that in the description box below the video on Rumble, but sorry, I can't do that on YouTube. I'm not even allowed to do that on YouTube. Now let's talk a little bit about these chambers, because the chambers and the generators are two of our biggest products that we've been selling for several years. And this all started back in 2020 when people couldn't get the jar sealers, because for a while there, those food saver jar sealers, the kind that you slip over the jar and you vacuum seal the jar using either the brake bleeder pump or a food saver pump or some other type of pump, a lot of people couldn't get those because they were just constantly out of stock, because everybody suddenly was jumping into food preservation, and those were always out of stock. You couldn't even get them directly from Food Saver at that time. And the cheap brands, the off brands, hadn't jumped in and started making any yet. So people were begging Patrick to come up with something that they could use to vacuum seal their jars since they couldn't get those jar sealers. We happened to see a video that a guy shared with us that had a similar idea to this, using the PVC pipe, the 4-inch PVC pipe. And so Patrick took that idea and then created his own design off of that. So if you see a design that looks just like this on Etsy, it was ours initially, but it's not us selling it. It's somebody else who took our idea and started selling them. The issue I had is I know people were buying through that person thinking they were buying from us, even though they had a completely different name to their Etsy store, because my Etsy store is called Rain Country Homestead. So if you're not buying it from Rain Country Homestead, you're not buying it from us. And since we're not selling on Etsy anymore, you're not buying it from us. Now, there are other people out there that have their own designs, and that's cool. It was just a little frustrating when people took our very same exact idea and then started putting that out. But yes, so this is Patrick's design, as is this. But anyway, what this is, for you still wondering, I have a video that I put out a few years ago on how to use this. In that video, I'm only talking about the quart size chamber, but the half-gallon chamber is the same. So I'll be linking to that video in the description box, but that video is also included, it's a link that's included when I send out that list. So you'll also get it if you email. It shows how to use it. Plus I cover some various FAQs and troubleshooting that tend to come up. But anyway, the purpose of this is now I still use my brake bleeder pump with the food saver tops most of the time, because most of the time I'm using regular canning jars. But the beauty of having this for me now is that whenever I have a jar that is not a canning jar, so the jar tops won't fit over it properly, either they're going to be too big or they're going to be too small, then this is where the vacuum chamber comes in handy, because I can put my jar down in there, put the lid on, and then I use my brake bleeder pump to vacuum seal the jar that way. So again, I'm not going to go show you all that here. You can go watch that video where I demonstrate how to do that. But I have vacuum sealed a lot of things, especially nuts, into recycled olive jars, green olive jars that we get, the kind you get from Costco, and those big tall jars, and those will fit in here perfectly. And then people were begging Patrick to come out with a bigger version that would hold the half-gallon jars, and that's what this is. And in fact, it holds bigger than a half-gallon jar. It holds even those really big pickle jars that you can get at Costco, which are more than a half-gallon. I don't remember how big they are, but he made sure that this design would hold those jars as well. And then the skin cream is another one of our popular items that I sell. I have 4 different varieties. The very first one being the ylang ylang frankincense and grapefruit with a little bit of vanilla in there just for a nice added scent. And this was the very first one that I came out with, and it was very popular. Then I came out with the rose geranium vanilla, which is also very popular, and then the lavender, and then the 4th one is just an unscented. For those who can't have any of those essential oils, they have very sensitive skin. It's unscented, so it just has all my basic, my infused oil that I make from my own herbs, coconut oil, beeswax, and shea butter is all included in that. And so this is the number one thing I use on my face every single day, sometimes a couple times a day. And I have been doing that for quite a few years now, since before I started my channel. Now, some other things you'll see are the hair ties, and I'm wearing one here. You can see this is what you'll typically see me wear. I have quite a few of these. And I can make them in any color combination you want, so I'll do custom orders on these, though I do have a list of specific colors I make. Obviously, I need to get more made up, but this is the one I call Prairie Sage. It has kind of a bronzy color brown, plus 2 shades of like a dark sage and a light sage. Pinks, for those who are into pink. Purples, for those who are into purples. So, but that's just a few. I make a lot of different colors, and any color combination of 3 that you want. I also, some things that I don't have out here, I also make fingerless gloves. Those I do by a custom order basis. I make various different types of hats, and you can ask about any of those. I have 2 pretty popular designs. One is more of a slouchy beret, as you can see in this image here. And then another one is a sun hat, kind of a vintage style sun hat. And you can get the little mitts to match that. I can make scarves and more. And so just ask. And if you're interested, I can send you some pictures of some of my different ideas or patterns that I've come up with. And then occasionally, I still have some Afghans I'm working on. I had to put them on hold for a while because of the garden, but I'll be getting back into that. And I have a few Afghans I'm going to be selling. I still have to decide on a price because there's a lot of time and a lot of yarn that goes into that. But that's not something I'll do on a regular basis, and I won't be doing custom orders for the Afghans. Those are something I'll be just, once I have one finished, those who are on the notification email list for my crocheted items, whenever I make something and just immediately put it out for sale, then they get that notification and it's first come, first serve, which is how I used to do it with the skirts, which I'm sorry, but I no longer am doing skirts or aprons or anything in regards to sewing as far as selling, at least not at this time. The skirts I pretty much just no. But, and part of it is just time, because the time that goes into doing that, and the great demand for the skirts, because there was a time where I was pumping out 6 skirts a week. But now with watching 3 grandbabies a week, I just don't have that kind of time. And being that I use my treadle machine, it does take a bit of a toll on my knee, which is still healing from an injury I got last year. It's getting better all the time, getting stronger all the time, but I just don't want to push it, because I have my own sewing projects I need to get done. And so I need to save my knee for those things. But some other crochet things that I do are handle covers. Here's just a few examples of colors. I'll put a picture here of the colors that I do. So how these work is I make this clamshell design, is kind of what I call it. It's more of a, a disc shape. And that's to go over anything with a short handle, like a teapot, or a handle on top of a lid handle. And then you have your longer ones that are for a skillet handle, such as cast iron, because a lot of us like to cook with cast iron, and those handles get hot. So this is just something you slip over the handle. I use both of these styles. I use all the time, because I'm doing, especially in wintertime, doing so much cooking and baking on my wood stove. I need those, and both of these styles are very handy for us. Oh, and then let's not forget seeds. I'm always selling seeds to the various herbs I grow. Some of them are always available because I get so many, like marshmallow, feverfew, valerian. I usually get quite a bit of that. Some seeds are going to be, like echinacea, are only going to be available in limited supplies. So that's something that I would, if you signed up for the seed notification list, then once I have echinacea seeds ready, then you would get a notification that these seeds are ready. And then once I'm sold out, they're gone until the next year when they're ready again. And then there are some of the wood products. Now, I know a lot of you have been waiting for a long time for the things like Patrick's Tampers. He makes all the wooden products. And he used to make a lot more, like cutting boards and stuff. But just like with me, because our schedules just keep getting more and more busy, a lot of things he had to just cut. And like I used to sell soap and lip balm and some other things, and I just had to start cutting things one by one because of time. But the tampers are one of the things he wants to get back into making, like this vegetable tamper. So, people who make kimchi, sauerkraut, or anything like that, this is something they may like. Sock darners. I'm not sure how many other wood products he's going to start getting back into, but those are the 2 things we're looking at right now. He used to make a lot more, but we'll see. We'll see how his time schedule goes. But that, again, is something that when you get that product list, you'll see that that's one of the emails you can sign up for, that when he does start having these things ready. Oh, he also makes Vitamix tampers. As he has time and he's able to get them out, then you'd get everybody that's in that notification list would get that notification that, okay, he's got this ready, he's got so many of these ready, whatever it is. So you can just, like I said, just go ahead and sign up for that if you're interested in any of those products. So anyway, just email me, raincountryhomestead@gmail.com. I'll send you that product list, and you can look over that. And just keep in mind that product list can change every so often. Some things will be removed, some things will be added, some prices will change. I try to keep hanging on and keeping my prices the same, but shipping keeps getting higher, and stuff to make product like the pipes, these things, and these lids keep getting higher and higher in price. And same thing with these things. The parts and pieces to make all this stuff just keeps going up. So at some point, we still have to raise our prices to compensate for that. So it's not that we're trying to squeeze more money out of people, but if we don't raise our prices, then we lose money every time we sell something. Oh, yes, and one more thing I got to say is every day, I get people that ask me if I sell any of my medicinal products, like the healing salve, the joint muscle rub, any of my tinctures or syrups. No, I'm sorry. I never have sold those things, and I never will. Again, I have my reasons for that. And I also don't sell any of my dried herbs or live plants. One thing about the dried herbs and the tinctures and all that, one of the reasons I won't sell those is because I only am going to have so much. And though I might have a lot of excess, I don't have enough to keep up with the demand that I get for these various things. Oh, yes, and the infused oils, I don't sell those either. So just know that if that's the one thing you're looking for, those are not items that I sell. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll give you a few ideas. And if you email me, I'll send you that product list as soon as possible. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.